What's happening, everyone? Hello and welcome back to Total Blast, where we discuss about everything Marvel and the MCU. We have two interesting news reports today. One is a possible Tony Stark return in the Ironheart series, and the second is an exciting news about Spider-Man. Something is probably cooking over there too. Since Iron Man died in Avengers Endgame 3 years ago, the question of when Tony Stark or Iron Man might appear again in the Marvel Cinematic Universe has become recurring. Probably an Iron Man variant that was never to be in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, or a Robert Downey Jr. multiverse variant who has either returned from the dead or is somewhere else in the timeline. Tony Stark might be prominently featured in an AI hologram in the upcoming series Ironheart, drawing inspiration from the comics. And today, a crazy photo confirmation of at least one plot device that leaves the door wide open for this to happen. I still believe there are a few places and good reasons to bring him back between now and 3 years from now in Avengers Secret Wars. We're talking about the genuine possibility that RDJ Tony Stark will appear in the upcoming Ironheart series. If this is your first time, please subscribe and enable your notification button so you don't miss out on subsequent videos. So, let's get right to it. Today's news comes to us on a page with the name Atlanta_filming on Instagram. They shared a photo with the caption, "Not going to tell which project this was taken, but it's a project filming in Georgia right now. It's Friday. Enjoy your aneurysm." We will go over a lot of crucial details in this video in a moment. Everyone knows the project they are talking about is the upcoming Ironheart series. Let's start by explaining the obvious and the reason he said to enjoy your aneurysm. You have a Riri Williams character who from the comics interacted with Tony Stark's holographic AI. It has since been confirmed that Riri will receive tech holographic hardware in the MCU. It doesn't get any more thrilling than that, especially since there's a chance that RDJ will make a cameo appearance. Yes, there have been many people who have tried to put a damper on this, such as the writers of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, but they haven't changed their minds. I'll explain, but in the meantime, we learned that from Spider-Man Far From Home that Quentin Beck actually created the binary augmented retro framing system that was offered when Tony Stark called it BARF. He said it's a $600 million experiment and claimed Stark lacked the vision to understand how it could change the world. We also learned that he has improved on Tony Stark's use of the technology to make holograms and virtually recreate environments more in line with how an AI would function. I believe this has several levels of implications here. First off, he wouldn't need BARF technology if he had a hologram of himself recorded in advance, like the one he showed his daughter during Avengers Endgame after his demise, for a very simple reason. I also believe that Tony Stark's AI should not be present in the MCU. However, I believe that having a pre-recorded message on the piece of technology is crucial for Riri Williams' storyline. I'll explain why in a moment, but first, let's discuss the Tony Stark AI issue. Tony Stark will always be an AI in the MCU if he returns at one point, unless there's a very specific reason why he will continue to exist. Disney and Marvel will end up paying Robert Downey Jr., who is the most costly, to be a very expensive voice actor, who is simply providing voiceovers for his hologram persona rather than actually acting. The entire situation is absurd, and once more, it prevents other heroes from developing. However, we may have a pre-recorded message from Tony Stark so that when Riri Williams most needs motivation and guidance, she can sort of feel as though he's speaking to her directly. Even though we can speculate endlessly about why Iron Man needs to return to the MCU, there are valid reasons Marvel Comics has consistently maintained multiple iterations of the comic book character, and Iron Man is one of the most successful IPs. So, it seems strange not to be able to sell any Iron Man merchandise or toys. When the MCU is missing one of the most lucrative characters, there are grounds to bring him back, probably a different variant that is not RDJ. While we might speculate about how he might return, this is the most plausible. If there was ever a possibility for us to see RDJ in some new footage or a cameo for the MCU, it looks like this will be it, now that we know that BARF tech is involved. Now, let's quickly talk about the latest on Spider-Man. It appears as though Sony is attempting to reboot their Spider-Man universe in some way, and this does involve a new Spider-Man, which is an intriguing thought. Additionally, it appears that Marvel Studios has some plan for their upcoming Spider-Man trilogy with Tom Holland, which is fantastic news. Tom Holland's Spider-Man might not be appearing in Sony's Spider-Man universe. Instead, he is strictly sticking to the MCU. It seems that the studios are keeping their respective universes distinct. What's really intriguing is that Madam Web may be the beginning of Sony's attempt to completely reset their universe. So, let's start with Tom Holland's Spider-Man from the MCU and the upcoming trilogy that Sony and Marvel are planning. First and foremost, if you are unaware, following the release of Spider-Man No Way Home, Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige and Sony executive producer Amy Pascal announced that they were already at work on the sequel with Tom Holland. According to a recent report, they have already started these plans, which are kind of interesting because it prevented a Spider-Man cameo in She-Hulk. It would have been pretty awesome to see She-Hulk, Daredevil, and Spider-Man together. The She-Hulk writers actually wanted this to happen. However, they were not allowed to use Spider-Man in the She-Hulk series. This report is coming from thedirect.com in an exclusive interview with the She-Hulk series creator and head writer, Jessica Gao. She states that there were lots of characters that were from the comics that they couldn't use because of either a rights issue or there were a few times where it was because Marvel was in works with them. In this interview, they actually indirectly confirmed that Marvel and Sony have already begun their plans for the next Spider-Man film. The She-Hulk writers were quite disappointed when Marvel informed them that they couldn't include Spider-Man in their story. Keep in mind that Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige do have a lot of influence with what Spider-Man does. She-Hulk and Spider-Man would be a terrific combination, and Kevin Feige would make it happen. But she said, it's obvious that Marvel Studios had other plans for Spider-Man. She recalled a couple of instances where she designed a particular character but were unable to use them because Marvel claimed to have different plans for them. It is unfortunate that Spider-Man can't appear in She-Hulk, but it's also good news because it means that Marvel and Sony at least have something in place already. You would hope that they do because Secret Wars is not that far away. Due to the fact that Secret Wars will take place 3 years from now, there will most likely only be time for one more Spider-Man movie or even two if they want to release one right now. In terms of the Sony Spider-Man universe, it appears as though they are definitely getting a new Spider-Man, which is a very intriguing move. However, the main thing we know so far is the Spider-Man universe-based film Madam Web will feature a baby Peter Parker. Based on reports, Mary Parker is meant to be pregnant in Madam Web, which means that she will give birth to a baby Peter Parker. Sony Madam Web has cast Emma Roberts to play Mary Parker, the mother of Peter Parker. A reboot of the entire Spider-Man universe over at Sony may be happening, which could be a good thing and could really be a bad thing. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Do you think they should reboot or do you think they should try and build off what they already have? Also, about Iron Man return news. Would you be thrilled to see him return, especially if he's doing that as an AI, or do you want an actual actor to return? Please, don't forget to like the video and share your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. Subscribe and turn on the post notification bell so you don't miss out on subsequent videos. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I hope to see you in the next one.